Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Back to the TARDIS podcast, the podcast where we take a look at every single episode of the 2005 revival of BBC's Doctor Who. I'm Jeff.
Hello, I'm Aurora.
And I'm John. John Homestuck.
And this week, oh my god, this week we are discussing Series 8, Episodes 11 and 12, Dark Water and Death in Heaven by Stephen Moffat. This is actually the first two-parter since the Flesh two-parter.
Huh.
If you think about it. Because everything else is like... There is no just straight-up two-parter in Series 7. So, yeah. This also, obviously, is the first full proper episode with Missy in it. To just, really insert the unhinged feral girl boss energy in.
The Margaret Thatcher energy, yes.
Yeah. And this is the final appearance of Danny Pink, who is Frame 1 sent to the Shadow Realm.
I press F to pay respects.
I didn't think it was too bad, really, personally. I mean, he's there for a good 2 minutes.
Yeah. And I will say, so I think, most other, actually, because I think Series 1 doesn't necessarily have that problem. Like most Doctor Who series finales, the second part is a little bit of a letdown, but this first part's real solid.
Yeah, good build up.
I think it works, and we talked about this, I think it's really a really good idea to essentially kill Danny off in such a mundane way. It's in a way where you could genuinely see this happening to someone.
Yeah, I think it's a good lead-in, which is why I'm not I when you told me that he just dies at the start of the next episode, or when you told us that, we were like, oh, that sounds bad, but I feel like it's given enough that it's a good lead-in, and it's just sort of feeds you directly into the meat of the episode, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not the beginning of Mass Effect Andromeda, where you're introduced to a character and it's just and he's your dad.
Frame 1 dead. Fucking
care
BioWare.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know. I don't know if you could exactly call this fridging, but I feel like with the amount of time
reverse fridging.
Yeah, with the time we've spent with Danny and the amount of time we've been given on screen to care about their relationship, it feels as we'll discuss later, Clara basically does the theoretical ultimate betrayal of the Doctor for a relationship that's maybe been going on probably less than a year, probably less than 6 months. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I get the drama of it, and it's a well acted. A lot of tension and stuff is built up that's actually genuinely really solid. It's just the basic the initial domino to start everything off. You kind of have to be really liberal with how much it affects you.
Yeah. Definitely. And yeah, it goes right into that, immediately into an unhinged Clara moment.
Yeah.
Where she and this is, I think, a really well acted moment on the both of their part. it does kind of make me a little like I would be interested in seeing another draft of the episode where this was at the end of the story or the halfway point and not the middle. But I think it's still really good where it is.
Yeah, Jenna Louise Coleman is really good in this episode, and they really go for it with Clara in this episode. I mean, like, I can't think of another like actual companion who really pushes the Doctor like Clara does in this in these couple episodes, because she's really pushing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, my takeaway at the end of the second episode was because I don't remember the start of the next season. I'm like, how the fuck are they still like together after this?
Yeah. It's like, so like, it's very much like I understand, and it's actually kind of interesting how I would understand perfectly if like this scene here was how it ended and he actually meant go to hell. But on the other hand, the way it actually plays out, I think is very, very fantastic. And the way he says, like, do you think I think so little of you that betraying me would mean anything? Which is just like, I give Moffat shit, but sometimes he manages to come up with a really raw line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the ability to pull the back and forth over who is in control of the situation, who thinks they're in control of the situation, and then the eventual reveal that he knew what was going on the entire time.
Yeah, it's a good. Clara and 12 have always felt like more evenly matched than like 11 and Clara, and it's a good. I don't know. It's a good dynamic as always. I have heard people complain that the stakes of this scene are really like taken out if you know what's happening in advance. I can see it, but I also tend to disagree because, the Doctor may know what's going on the entire time, but I bet he was still surprised when she tried to make him go to sleep. Like, I bet that was still like a why the hell would you do that moment for him.
Yeah.
So I think like the quote unquote like betrayal may not be real or may not be like exactly what's presented to the audience at first go, but I think the integrity of that like narrative point for the characters still carries a lot of weight, if that makes any sense.
And honestly, like, also I completely forgot how this scene ended, so I didn't remember.
Yeah.
that's the tip. Just forget what happens. Just erase it from your memory.
Yeah, we had no
amnesia, not even once.
I mean,
or maybe twice.
Literally us, but we just had no knowledge. Like, we remembered like the big plot beats, like, yeah, Missy's the master and she has the Cybermen from the dead people. That was it. That was all we remembered. So everything was like a total surprise. We were like, whoa. Like, the part where Clara is just like, at the start of the second episode, I think, where Clara's like, I'm the Doctor, and then it just like cuts to the intro and it shows her eyes instead of Capaldi's. I'm like, yes.
So yeah. So they end up going to 3W, which I, at this point in the episode, went to the Discord server and commented that when you think about it, every single time they've brought the Master in the new series, they have done it in the way of a disguise with a surprise reveal with varying degrees of efficacy. In the case here, where it's just like, who the fuck do you think you're fooling?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too of like the um the teardrops motif, like the eye with the teardrop motif all over the fucking building. It's just like like, bro, who are you fooling?
Yeah, honestly, like I was like, hey, it's the Thing. I do like the whole like concept of their cover story though. Like some scientists figured out that like, because like at first there's sort of like this when you first go into the location, you can kind of assume it's like the future or some alien planet or something.
Yeah.
So the reveal that it's like modern day London totally recontextualizes the whole thing, because you realize, hey, wait a second, somebody figured out that the dead are going someplace, and instead of telling everyone, it just ended up becoming a thing for rich people.
Yeah.
It's a Scientology project.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Do they do an explanation in this one for why 12 doesn't recognize Missy as a Time Lord right away? Or have they just like given that up since RTD?
Maybe he's distracted by maybe he's just distracted by Missy being there. I mean, you know,
look, 12 is not a Coomer. I will die on this hill.
Fucking Missy is so fucking good. Like, she's like this. She's such the good match. Fuck, those are not real words. She is the best master because she's just so like, she has that like totally unhinged energy, but it's just like corralled into these really specific bursts. Rather than just being like, whoa, I'm heckin' crazy. It's like she channels it into just this like composed bullshit. Like, there is no reason why she had to pretend to be a robot. You know that bitch was just like, what if I just pretended to be a robot, and she just rolled with it. And I love that for her.
Just fucking with him, where she goes like, my heart is maintained by the doctor, and the doctor's like, Doctor Who, and she fucking screams at the top of her lungs in like the most like exaggerated over the top way for Dr. Chang.
And where she just she fucking kisses him. She's like like she's just being insanely horny flirty for no reason, because he has no idea who she is. And it like, I love that because it also just they're so black rom for each other, you know?
Yeah. Except
yes.
I'd argue that starts to shift in series 10, but yes.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's only because 13's writing sucks.
However, her and Clara remain consistently black rom.
Oh, absolutely. I would argue that one of the reasons 13 sucks is specifically because they abandoned the black rom dynamics between the two, and that's because 13.
No. Did you fucking forget in Spyfall when he literally like goes like on your knees to her, and I was like, Well,
yeah, but then it shifts. That episode was good.
That's true.
I do.
This is why we like Spyfall, remember?
Oh, geez, Rick. Anyways. I think what I like about Missy, I like Dawan's master too, but even like with foreknowledge of how Missy is portrayed as a character, it's like even after the reveal, she still like for whatever reason has those like composed moments. It's like she's like always keeping it under a lid. And at first you think that's to like catch people off guard, but then in series 10 you think that like part of it might also just like scare her that she's like that. And then Dewan, after the reveal, he just basically like goes like buck wild with it, which like good for him. He knows how to do that. But it's like I don't know. I think it's a good sign of a character that like at their introduction, I just want them to be doing more because I know how much better of a character they'll be like later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this is like baby's first Missy is still like fucking solid.
Yeah. And I'm very mad that they just hard killed off Missy and then recast. And I think that Chris Chibnall is a coward for not bringing back Missy and unleashing the manic feral lesbian energy that would create. Fucking coward.
God.
Do you remember back when this episode aired how like the whole like don't cremate me thing?
Yeah, no, I
like,
was gonna bring that up.
controversial?
They got so much shit for that, and it's really funny because like I feel like RTD had equally, if not more, morbid stuff all the fucking time.
Wait, they got shit for that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, they got a bunch of complaints for that. They people thought it was too dark for family TV.
It's Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember they got like a bunch of off-com comments for that.
There's like so much worse stuff in the other seasons.
Uh-huh.
Liberals, am I right?
Oh my god. Okay, I'm looking at the wiki, and apparently some piece of other expanded universe media confirms that Danny died because Missy herself specifically personally ran him over. They should have kept that in the episode. Like, she just drives into him with like a Hummer and then like winks at the camera. And like the fucking Looney Tunes, that's all folks, comes on the screen.
For anybody who has watched WandaVision, which if you're listening
Yeah, no,
to this podcast,
the Agatha Harkness like
Yes.
wink at the camera. Yes.
yeah, it was Missy all along. Like it's just
Wait,
unironically.
was Agatha just like dollar store Missy all along?
Yes.
Don't do that to Catherine Hahn, okay? Don't besmirch. She did wear
That's
purple,
true.
though.
I may shit talk Marvel a lot, but that's not fair to the actress. Fair enough.
Similar vibes though.
No, in general, this episode has like a black comedy streak on it that like feels like almost like it feels almost like back to RTD. Like the visual aesthetic is different, but some of the like the black comedy in places does feel very RTD. They introduce that fucking kid, which is just okay. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you'd bring this in a little, like bringing this in a little bit earlier would have been better. Not like right in the last episode.
Yeah, when Iron Man 3 does PTSD better than you, it's time to rethink your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's serviceable. The problem is like when they get to like oh, it's okay, just like purge yourself of emotions, join the Cybermen, join the Borg. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like it feels very surface level with how they choose to portray that
I will say I still found
happening.
it like emotionally compelling. But yeah, there's not a lot of substance there, but I still found it just sort of like evocative on just an emotional level, is what I would say.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um
Also, did, did they explain that Missy made the phone call in these and I just missed it?
yes. Yes, they do.
Okay.
They literally said that in these.
Okay, I just missed it then. We're having a dissociative day, so yeah, that makes sense that it slipped past us.
Yeah, that's fair. It's in like
Missing Missy.
the next episode, I think.
Fair, fair.
Um So yeah, there's a fun little reference and callback to a second Doctor story with the Cybermen marching through London. Oh, I forgot the fucking way she toys with Dr. Chang before she kills him. See, the thing with Missy and the thing about the way that Michelle Gomez does things as Missy is that it's literally like if you gave John Sim these exact same things, it wouldn't be out of character, but it would be cringe.
Yes.
And here it's not cringe. When she does it, it's not cringe.
She just
Say
has the
something nice before it
physicality for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the unhinged feral girl boss energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
God, I fucking love the scene in the airplane.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess to skip ahead to the next episode, though I would want to say again, I think I will have some complaints about Death in Heaven, but I think Dark Water as a 45-minute episode of Doctor Who is really fucking solid. But again, every single Doctor Who finale, barring like series 1 and series 10, does the same thing, where the first episode is really, really good and the second episode drops off.
Can we talk about the reveal before we
The Missy reveal? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's really because I don't know. I'm trying to think about back when we were watching this live and thinking of theories. It's just like, oh, maybe it's the Ronnie, and it's like, well,
they literally did a fake out that they were that would have been revealed to press that was the Ronnie.
Yeah, and that's funny.
It's like, see, see, the thing is whenever people make the Ronnie theories, you know that they are just fucking unhinged like classic stands, because who the fuck cares about the Ronnie?
guys, it's the monk. It's the monk, guys. No,
that would actually be based.
But the
wow,
point
misogyny?
It the reveal kind of dates itself in a weird way, because toward the end of Moffat Who, they were kind of going with this whole thing of like, oh, what even is gender to Time Lords? Like, they don't really like even pay attention to the thing, and the way it comes off is just like he's shocked that the Master is a woman, which totally doesn't fit. It's really funny to be like, oh, this was where you were going with that, and now it's like,
no,
the show's like, nah, man, it's cool.
BC, you know, they have to have someone be the surrogate so someone can stand in and be like, fucking Tim Allen noise.
Yeah, he was just shocked because the Time Lords forcibly feminized. I'll leave.
Do you think if you do you think if a Time Lord, like a man Time Lord, watches too much Sissy Hypno, do you think they regenerate into a woman?
I don't know. Maybe that's what happened with 13.
Was 12 just like pounding the Sissy Hypno every day?
You know, he does say not to look in his browser history. Just saying, that's in canon.
I mean, I think we're learning a little bit about how Time Lords work here.
Yeah, man.
We here at the Back to the TARDIS podcast discussing the elements of the episode that no one else will.
This is exactly the kind of perspective that the Doctor Who fan base is missing.
Did 12 watch Sissy Hypno, the longest thread in forum history?
Locked after 5,763 posts.
Yeah, let's coordinate that Reddit thread.
Anyways.
Doctor Who.
I'd also like to take this moment now that we've reached the end of Dark Water, to take a moment to quickly pop over to the news, because I forgot to do it at the top of the episode, which is obviously today, Tuesday the 10th, is 2 days ago. Ncuti Gatwa was announced as the 14th Doctor. I haven't seen him in anything. The clips that I've seen have been very promising. I think this is a very promising step forward for the next year. And I'm definitely more excited now.
Yeah. I've seen some clips of him in Sex Ed, the Netflix show. Not really for me. And to be honest, who knows how this thing goes, because I like Jodie Whittaker's work prior to Doctor Who as well. But it's fresh blood. It's, a good writer, a good, he's been able to run the show before. Hopefully he can get together a team. Yeah, I don't know. I am cautiously optimistic, as I have been for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen him in Sex Ed because we watched that show, and we like it. And we like him in it a lot. And basically, if he brings a fraction of the fruitiness to the Doctor as he does to Sex Ed, I think we will be happy with him as an actor, at least, if not the show as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that between him and RTD, that this is a very good step in Doctor Who becoming very, very, very queer.
I'm a big fan of the idea of like ethereal bisexual Doctor.
Yeah.
I need to find a outrage YouTube thumbnail that I found, because it is just, I normally am not entertained by these.
The woke mob.
No, yeah, this is the best thing. It doesn't even use any of those buzzwords. It's just like the thumbnail is fuck, I'm not going to be able to clip it to send it, but basically it's a picture of the actor next to the TARDIS, and the title is Doctor Who, the next Doctor announced, #RIP Doctor Who. And I'm just like, based off of what? We know why.
Based off of Based RTD.
He's black, guys. No, yeah,
cope, seethe, mauled.
Yes. R plus ratio plus David Dennant.
David Bennett.
Obama.
Yeah. So I guess to move away from News Corner, back over to what we're currently talking about. Yeah, so it opens, I will say it opens pretty strong. Got your unit coming in, got the Cyber Danny rescuing Clara, who is pretending to be the doctor.
That was such trailer bait. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Clara Oswald has never existed. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Because people kept making like evil Clara theories.
How am I somehow more offended by that than the Darth Jar Jar memes?
Because the Darth Jar Jar memes are funny.
That's true.
Misa Sith.
Many people are saying this.
And it's obviously it's nowhere. It feels kind of like a test run for Bill in Series 10, but there is just like it does take the time to linger on like him seeing himself cyberized in the mirror, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think Doctor Who, of course, never really crosses too many lines unless you're, I don't know, 90 years old. But the body horror in this episode doesn't quite reach the levels of like Villa Diodati or the first part of the series 11.
Yeah, the Series 2 one.
Yeah.
I meant Series 12, but Series 2 as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. As far as master Cyberman stories, it's good.
Yeah, I feel like the necessity to keep Danny intact sort of put limitations on the body horror. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was still a little creepy, but like I feel like I mean without that limitation they could have fucked with him a little more maybe.
Yeah, and also I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real with you. After Danny fucking rescues Clara, his presence and part in the episode immediately takes a turn for the worse.
I would agree.
Look,
yeah.
Like the scene in the fucking graveyard where they're going back and forth about like the emotion inhibitor chip. And how like, oh, psych, he needs to turn it on so he'll reveal what needs to happen or whatever. Just like I started going like, and fucking Groose's theme from Skyward Sword started playing in my head over this fucking farce.
Look, the best thing I can say for this is that with 12's whole line about love not being an emotion, it's a promise, we get some base, aromantic, queer platonic love representation.
It gets better there. It does legitimately get better there. It's kind of like at the other end, at the very end of the story, it gets better. But like that middle part where he's like, no, you need to turn the inhibitor on, so I can interface with the cyber thing, and then fucking tell you how we beat this, haha, you dumb idiot officer bitch, haha, sir, soldier plot that sucks. And then he turns it on, and then because he's a fucking Cyberman now, he goes, yeah, you can't beat this. And I'm like, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen, you dumb motherfuckers? Like,
so
I was screaming internally.
That's the problem with a lot of finales. It's that, like, if you work them as one entire story, it's like, by the end of part one, we'll have, like, the climax. And the problem is that if your second episode is all just denouement, it's all falling action, that's not, like, generally like as exciting or as easy to do as do an entire episode just of falling action and just of resolving shit. You know, like writers always want to put like new bullshit to like have, so like the Doctor being like the president of the world because politics, like just stuff like that. It's just like, okay, we need to keep having shit happen until, you know, Clara and Danny can come to their resolution until 12 can resolve his like series 8 character arc. It's just
No,
this episode just feels like stuff happening, and then the episode remembers that it has things to like wrap up, and then it does it.
Yeah, I feel like that's why the season 3 finale works really well, because it's like you need to have like a reset after the first episode, so you're sort of working it back up again, because obviously in the season 3 finale, you know, they sort of lose and then they're working their way back up from the hole in the second episode. Whereas in this one, it's just sort of like, okay, the Cybermen are here now. What do we do? And like, okay, here's the thing. We
need to have a 20-minute long final scene in this graveyard that was very clearly shot in broad fucking daylight and color corrected to look like it's cloudy and gray.
Yeah.
The one time when England inclant.
Here's the one, like, I like the resolution where Missy just sort of like hands the control over to him, and then he like just blows them all up because of course. Like I vibe with that. I feel like it fits thematically, and like, yeah, sure, no, Missy would just be like, Missy would totally do that. She would just be like, here's a fucking army. Like this whole thing was just to fuck with you. Like I didn't actually want to like destroy anything this time. So I'm fine with that.
No, she wanted to definitely.
Yeah,
targeting the humans and the Cybermen in particular is definitely meant to cause damage.
Well, but it's not like.
See, I don't.
Her end goal wasn't necessarily like destroying the human race. Actually, it was just to fuck with the Doctor, and she's like, "Here's a cool thing to fuck with the Doctor," and she hands him an army, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so conflicted. Never mind. No, I'm not actually." So I'm fine with that. It's just annoying that it takes, like you said, it takes 20 minutes to get there.
How many?
The thing with this is that I think I don't hate the resolution of him being handed the controls and then going with it. I think it is an overall problem indicative of the soldier arc, where over and over again it's like you're a soldier, or you're an officer, no I'm not, yes you are, no I'm not, and it's like there's never any, it doesn't feel like there's any conflict on the Doctor's end, because in the end it's still just no I'm not.
There's also no real elaboration to it.
It's really stupid.
Here's the real question though. How many, with the bullshit Missy pulls in this episode, how many incels do you think were created the date this aired?
I don't know.
Me too. Me neither. I'm fucking this fucking episode, man. I don't know. The second half drags so much, and
it really
and everything
really
interesting about it. Everything interesting about it, like, gets done better later. So, like, everything I can think of, like, all the, like, Osgood shit, like, we get the best of that in Series 9. The best of, like, Clara and 12 is, like, in Series 9, and, like, the exploration of, like, Danny and, like, that trauma ironically happens more, like, after he's gone than while it's happening. So it's just like, that ended.
Yeah, and it's like, obviously, like, it's a testament to Peter Capaldi and the fact that, like, even though I dislike the ending of the soldier arc, he really sells where he says, like, I lose sight, where he's like, thank you, I didn't know, and goes to this thing, eventually goes, I am an idiot with a box, and he says love is not emotion, love is a promise. And like, it's a testament to how Capaldi is able to sell that even though I dislike it, I really like the overall scene and how that relates to the arc. I really like those lines. And then fucking Danny delivers this dumbass fucking speech And I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm going like, you should have got fucking Hideo Kojima to write some fucking shit about soldiers, because that dude knows how to write some shit around soldiers. And
yeah,
Doctor Who written by Kojima is certainly a thought.
Yeah, no, I've been playing Death Stranding. I just give him an episode. I want to see what he can come up with.
Hell yes. Yeah, that whole speech is just like, Danny, just quit while you're behind.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Also, Brigadier cameo for some goddamn
I was gonna
reason.
get to that. I'm gonna be real. I get you're trying to tribute Nicholas Courtney. This is kind of tone deaf. Like, it's not as bad as, like, Star Wars puppeting the corpse of dead actors, but it's pretty bad. And also, it's like, I don't know why you really needed to do this, because you already had the bit in Closing Time where he discovers that the Brigadier died. It feels real bad.
It's not even like gratuitous in the usual way, because like they don't recast. Obviously, they don't, like, the tech right there really isn't there to do archive footage or anything. It's just a guy in a suit, and you say it's him.
And here's the thing, too. This episode was aired 3 days before Remembrance Day.
Incredible.
That's kind of cringe, bro. Yeah, it's just fucking hell. And then we cut to Danny talking to Clara, and I laugh my fucking ass off every time as Danny's like, they can only send one person back. So here's this fucking random kid that never shows up again. You need to find his parents. And it's like, this, if this was actually Clara's last episode, I could see this working. But the fact that she stays on for an entire another season and that kid fucking never shows up again.
It's pretty funny.
It's just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a name. They don't even name that kid.
He literally is just like stock Middle Eastern child.
Yeah.
Look,
poor impoverished child that I feel bad for.
Yeah. I don't know. Would it have been weirder for like Clara's Series 9 arc to be like, hey, I'm raising this kid that like I never really met, but like my dead ex just kind of like dropped him off because he was like the only unresolved like part of his trauma. Like, would that have been weird? Sure, but like I would kind of admire it in how bold it would be to just be like, yeah, fuck it, we're doing this now. But instead it's like, yeah, here's your emotional support imperialism thing.
It feels like shitty it feels like a shitty knockoff of Doomsday.
Yeah, I can see that. This is when you bring in Rose and 10-2 from the other universe and be like, hey, here's your kid.
Fuck off. If they bring back Rose, I do not want to see Rose Tyler again. RTD better not fucking bring her back. Moffat made the right choice of like yeah, we're gonna get Billie Piper back, but she's not Rose, and we're gonna make that actually work. Because
honestly, I'd be curious about how that would come off, just because like you can't. She's aged out of the role that Rose was, so you'd have to like make a new character basically, which would be interesting, or you do the whole like Star Wars de-aging thing, which would be awful and hilarious. Um,
yeah.
or you
And
don't do the
look even worse because they don't have the money for that kind of shit in the same way.
Or you keep her the same character despite all logic and reason and don't de-age her, in which case that is the funniest option. But yeah, it's this is some Journey's End. Here's a random emotional support character. Now you can do this thing, except they don't even do that.
Yeah. So, that being said, this final scene here, I do not hate the way that Clara and 12 eventually ended up in Series 9. And it obviously gave us Heaven Sent, which everyone hails as a classic. And at least now, I haven't rewatched it in a while, so we'll see when we get there. At least for now, I am on the Hellbent Defense Squad. But there's a part of me that really likes the way that this ends, with them both leaving and completely fucking lying to each other through their teeth. It feels like a natural way, especially given the the progression of the season, for this to end, and it fulfills the desire that I've had ever since Martha of companion departures to not be this big event of just these people grew apart instead of this person's dead or doesn't remember the doctor or is separated for whatever reason and won't be able to get back together again. Just these people who cared about each other and clearly still care about each other weren't good for each other and grew apart. And they kind of do that in Heaven Sent Hell Bent, but they have to technically kill her off first. And it's just,
Yeah, this is a good ending. It's not a good ending because it isn't, but it's a good ending.
It is an incredibly well written, bittersweet, mature ending, I think. And it's like it makes me really bummed out because like obviously like Graham and Ryan also left without there being like a major blow up, but there it really sucked. It was just kind of like, yeah, we're done. And they're like, okay.
There was no like lead into it. There was no like
there was sort of lead in.
There was sort of,
but it was by Ryan stating at the camera, I want to go back to having a normal life. I don't think I want to travel with the doctor anymore, and I should probably tell her at some point. Fucking Chris Chibnall. You know that shot where he tries to find Gallifrey and it's not there and he just starts punching the shit out of the console in anger and frustration. I was trying to find a gif of that so I could post that in a server and be like me when Chris Chibnall.
Accurate.
Many such cases.
Yeah, it's a powerful scene. The lie that they tell each other, to me, it's a little bit more impactful on 12's side, but it's it's still a good scene. And to this day, I don't really know if we've ever found out a reason, like the real reason why Jenna Louise Coleman decided like, oh, I want to stay. Whether it was like, oh, I was kind of like over it, but then I changed my mind, or they offered me more money, because like pay raises are built into like TV contracts, so that was probably going to be the case no matter what. But like I don't know. It's just interesting to me, especially with like how we'll see things progress in the Christmas special.
Yeah.
How that progressed, because if this stayed where it was, it would probably be in my top 3 companion
Yeah.
departures, easy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like, I like, as I said, I like these, and as I said, like, I don't know, because an alternate timeline, an alternate, well, yeah, an alternate timeline where this was the actual ending probably wouldn't have Heaven Sent, and I think that the world would be lesser for it. But yeah, it's really, really good.
No, because in a world where Clara leaves, he takes the kid as his companion.
Um, and then it cuts to credits, except halfway through the credits, like fucking my man, co-star of all of the best Edgar Wright movies, Nick Frost, comes in and is like, hey man, hey, this ending sucks. And I'm like, no it doesn't. He's like, we can't let it end like this. And that's our pull in for the next Christmas special. I have no fucking memory of that special. I've only seen that shit once.
What special is it?
So that's gonna be interesting. Last Christmas.
What is that? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, Nick Frost is Santa Claus. That's about it. And then like Dream Layers.
Huh.
I
Crabs.
think
I don't think I've seen it.
Crabs.
Maybe I've seen it.
Space
Okay.
crabs.
I'm looking it up now because now I'm like, what? Oh, this one. Yeah. Right. It's the like
Okay.
weird Inception one.
Okay, so apparently next episode was what was planned to be Clara's last, which fine. Moffat is going to have his fairy tale bullshit or whatever. Even though I think it would be really, yeah. If I was calling the shots, yeah. And then Capaldi and Moffat actually lobbied her to stay for another season, and she changed her mind like pretty late in production, and like a side character in the episode next week was supposed to become the next companion, and they changed that. So but yeah, all right. That's about it for what I have to say for this episode.
Yep.
Same.
Okay, yeah. Moving on to ratings. Yeah, I mean, it's it's better than I think any of Moffat's previous season finales, and honestly, better than some of RTD's, honestly, even if it does drop off in the end. I think I'd give Dark Water an A+, Death in Heaven a B+, and then I'd average that out to like an A minus for the both of them.
Yeah, I think as of right now, the Series 5 finale is still my top Moffat finale. Just personal preferences and like his types of storytelling, but this is good for the most part. The first part is kind of where all the meat of the story is, and then you get I don't know, some not so great like filler and like extensions of like drama and everything, but then it wraps up like pretty damn well for having sort of like fucked around for like 35-40 minutes. It's solid. I'd probably also, even with my memories of despising Hellbent, I would probably still rank this as my least enjoyed finale of Capaldi's.
Well, and even if Hellbent is bad, Heaven Sent is still better than this. So
yeah, like Heaven Sent in its own is like S tier. It's God tier. So like even so yeah, that could be seen as an unfair comparison, but I'd give this it's a light 8.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the first episode's really good. It's just very tight episode, and I think it does the reveal well. In general, I just really like Clara in that episode, so I would say it's like a 9. The second episode just I didn't have many problems watching it, but it definitely did drag through the Danny stuff. So I would put that maybe at more like a 7.5, so maybe like an 8.25 overall, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then in terms of overall, because we are now at the end of Series 8, I would put Series 8 overall, I'd probably rank it as my favorite Moffat season, probably, which puts it, which in terms of overall, it puts it below all of RTD's series except for 2. But it's the top of Moffat's, or kind of on a dueling, the top of all of Moffat's that we've done so far, and kind of on a dueling space with 5, I think. And my top 5 for the season overall would be from lowest to highest. In the Forest of the Night for being genuine shit Kino that's unhinged and hilarious. Time Heist, because it's good. Robot of Sherwood for a similar reason. Actually, either one of those could go in the other spot, so kind of a nebulous positioning there. Deep Breath, and then number 1 is, of course, Mummy on the Orient Express.
Yeah, okay. I would probably that's a tough one. I'd still say every RTD series. Honestly, it might tie with series 2, not because of like general quality, but just there's a few standout episodes that like really make it hard to dismiss. Would probably still put it below series 5 for me, just because of how much I love the concept for that series. So yeah, that would be like, I think right now my top spot is series 1, followed by 4.
Yep.
Then 3. Honestly, you know what? Fuck it. Then 5, then 8, then 2, and then 6 and 7. Honestly, I'll put them at the bottom, not because I generally think like they're like terrible, but just because a lot of it is, I'm tired right now, and a lot of it is slipping through my brain.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So, yeah. And top 5 episodes, I'd probably put, let me think. Mummy on the Orient Express is top, is top tier. Then I'd put Time Heist just for being like an enjoyable, like, I don't want to say like filler, but it's just an enjoyable, like, isolated adventure, really enjoyable. Then I'd probably put Listen, and then probably Into the Dalek. No, then deep breath, and then in the forest of the night, because holy shit.
Fair enough.
So I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember the earlier seasons well enough to rank those. So
Yeah, you don't need to do the overall season ranking.
yeah, so I would say going from top down for us, it would be Listen, Time Heist, Mummy. I'm gonna say Robots of Sherwood then, and then it's tough between Flatline and Deep Breath, but I would say Deep Breath maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Understandable. Before we leave, I'd like to go to the absolute funniest reaction tuber thumbnail that I saw around all of this, which, yeah, this is just the funniest one, which is thumbnail, is it racist to believe that Doctor Who is an intrinsically Caucasian character?
Ontologically white.
I don't know.
Look,
I don't know. I'm gonna say no, you fucking idiot.
Look,
Bitch.
look. It's normative determinism if you're racist. Okay.
Oh my god. Oh, Ho's mad. Okay, all right. Dude's been molding. Okay, all right. So yes, next time we'll be covering Last Christmas. Until then, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at B2TARDISPod. You can support us on Patreon for a number of benefits, such as early access to episodes, the ability to listen into episodes live being recorded, and potentially even the ability to guest star upon an episode of your choosing. I'm Jeff. You can follow me on Twitter at WheatleyDL.
Missy is transbian coded. Fight me, libs. You can follow us
Coded?
on the twitter.com at of mice and femmes for all your mediocre shit posting pleasure.
Penis.
Understandable. We will see you all next week.